and directly into touch. Yeah, it was a golden chance, the one real chance of these 10 minutes, which fell to really Vasco Uva, the captain, who was the man who dropped the ball on the short side. This was this most recent movement, though, and that wasn't so clever from Italy.
No, the Italian backline at the moment, they're just really drifting across the field and taking up a lot of the space. 2 times we've seen them spread it wide, and the winger's taken the ball inside the 5-metre mark, which not ideal from a winger's viewpoint.
And down below, Portalami, as Rob says, is pacing up and down like a tiger in a cage. Yeah, exactly. Big tiger too, but a wolf in this case.
See, untidy work again by the Portuguese at the set piece. Play ball. If they want to stick in this game, they're going to have to tighten up that set piece, whether they shorten the lineouts and just try and give their jumper clear opportunities to win it.
I don't think I'd like to be on the end of Bortolami's first tackle when he comes back on the field. Troncon under pressure, Andrea Massi. Good availability from him. Now Troncon, more like it from him. Drives through 2-3 tackles into the 22 again. Italy want to reassert their dominance. Little knock on again, or was the referee? No, he's given an offside in fact, and Bortolussi drives into the tackle. Advantage not taken, and it'll be a penalty in front of the post. And I think they might settle for the 3 points here.
I think that'd be the smarter option. I think they'll take the 3 points and just get it started again. The Italians getting away from what they started the game doing very well, and that was the 8 forwards working together and just taking the Portuguese right through the heart of it. As we see here, going into the tackle situation, not effective with the clean out. We've got Massi in there with Vosovai and Bergamasco. They've got to commit a few more players to the breakdown and make sure that they maintain a good, clean possession. The ball has got to be on a plate for Troncon, because they will go forward all night. If they manage to do that, it's a lot easier for the number 10 to operate behind that.
I'll tell you what, Rob, just looking round now, how this ground has filled up. It's tremendous. It's virtually completely full.
Well, there's a number of Italian restaurants around here and Portuguese restaurants around the Parc de France, so they're obviously having an early dinner and get straight to the stadium, but obviously a few digestives, and they made it for 8 o'clock, but it's literally full now. There's probably about 2,000 missing, that's all.
Fantastic. So something like 42,000 at least here tonight. Crowd don't like this decision by Italy, but it's sensible enough. 3 points on offer in front of the post, and Bortolussi couldn't miss. Here are Italy then on the counter-attack, rejuvenated perhaps with the return of their leader and their 15th man in Bortolami.
Excellent.
Terrific, wasn't it?
Excellent play there from the kickoff. Well taken, structured. They drove it towards the middle of the field. Back to Bortolussi, who's looked a lot more accomplished already tonight than he has in his previous outings in this World Cup.
Relatively inexperienced, 10 caps before this World Cup.
I'm not going to speak again. I want you to. I'm not
starting
again. Open up
for the 3rd time. Can they cope with their own ball here? Portugal have this one. Drive through, little variation, using the back row this time. Now the pick-up by Correa. Jose Pinto to Pinto, the fly half. Well, not sure it's in his best interest to give the ball back. However good the kick, look at the close support play here. Excellent. Bortolussi, Parise, Bergamasco. Now it goes wide. De Marini, the little push through didn't come off. Ball in hand, I'd have thought. Both these teams.
Well, without a doubt, there poor kicking there by Pinto from the start. There gave away position easily, but Bortolussi again did very well. De Marinier, not the greatest of options. They've got to be a little bit more patient, go through the phases, work it through, take their time though. Good enough, the forwards are good enough. As we see here, there is not a lot of space to try and thread that one through there. Italy recover, not a strong clearance kick, so once again, line out Italy, and that's been the theme of the match so far, going from set piece to set piece.
The old lesson, kick's a good one if you recover possession, but by kicking you nearly always, or more than 50 chance, you'll give it away. Forward pass between the back row men.
Always a risk running the line like that. Bergamasco starting from out wide, looking to come back. The option was probably better to put the pass in behind his back, of course, as long as he didn't interfere with the defence. As we'll see him coming in here, you'll see it quite clearly. It's going forward. They picked a very good line, but unfortunately forward, once again, Portugal survive another set-piece play.
This could be a very, very impressive back row if they can get their act together. Now, 3-2 on the blind side. Chance for David Matthews. Did well, stayed on his feet, lays it back. Jose Pinto. Now the big number 5, David Penalva.
No blue, stay
plays his rugby near Bordeaux at Blagnac.
Okay, it's fine, leave him there, thank you.
They need a bit of continuity of possession here. That's what Portugal have not had as far. Gonçalo Uva.
Right hands, leave it now, Red. It's fine, it's fine.
Brother Vasco is number 8 and captain, but it's a turnover, big turnover. Giraldini feeds wide, Canali, Massi. Better tackle, but no one really on Massi's elbow to take it off him. Bortolucci.
Advantage,
Knock on, advantage by the referee called. Advantage that is to Italy. Massi, advantage over. Better tackling, better defence here, midfield from Portugal.
But Portuguese very willing in defence, albeit the organisation a little bit disorganised at times, but they're prepared to get there and make those tackles. Get excellent covering work, and there's big space in behind here. Unlucky it drifted into touch. If that had stayed in field, it would have been interesting.
It would indeed, from Jose Pinto, the scrum half, put in a beautiful kick, saw that Italy weren't at home, put it deep, the ball, wretched thing that it is, kicked into touch. You'd have loved it to stay in field.
But once again, we're seeing the small kick away inside the opposition 22. They've used it on 3 or 4 occasions so far, and they haven't regained it on one stage, the Italians. I think a message has got to get through to them. Keep it in hand and build the play. A lot more patience is required from the Italians, because in times they're looking very, very good tonight, but just a little bit too quickly going for the kicking option.
Let's keep an eye on them.
Just a little bit of conversation between Malcolm Changling and referee Marius Jonker. Far side. A little bit of attention too for Jose Pinto. There's a man who scored a vital try in the first playoff game against Uruguay. It was so tantalising. The whole country was on edge, but they won on aggregate 24-23 in the home and away games, each winning 1. But it was Stid Uruguay from this World Cup, and here they are up again it tonight as earlier, but holding Italy to 10-0 despite having a meagre amount of possession.
Thank you.
Well, again, Italy going back to how they started the game there. Two-handed take, try and take it through the middle, as we see here. That's a very harsh penalty. In fact, that isn't a penalty because he's by himself. That means there is no maul. He is allowed to pull that down. I'm afraid the referee's got that one wrong. That's a poor call by the referee.
And painful for Portugal, who have to retreat back deep into their own 22.
The same thing over here now, Changers. There's a mark, gentlemen.
You've got to feel at the moment the Portuguese coming out, well, the Italians will certainly argue the yellow card call, but the Portuguese coming out on the wrong side of the referees so far, aren't they? A couple of calls just haven't gone their way, and when you're 10 points behind, you want everything, you want something to start going your way, particularly from the ref.
Giraldini, Bortolami, reverting to type here as they did at the beginning, but Portugal, well, they've pulled everyone into this one to try and check Italy's advance, and they've done it well and turned it over, but are in fact finally forced into touch. Oh, and a little bit of nasty. Players step in, tension.
Well, this is where the frustration's going to creep in for the Italians. They had it against Romania. It's going to be like this. Portugal are not able to compete with them on the same level in pure rugby terms, but what they will do is they're going to fight and they're going to scrap for every piece of possession. They're going to be in places where you wouldn't expect them to be, and that's how it's going to be all night for them. They should know this in their preparation. I'm sure the coaching staff has told them, be prepared for guys coming in from the wrong side. Be prepared for guys trying to kill the ball.
Yeah, they've lost their composure. I know it's flailing hangbags, but
game not be boiled over into something ugly.
Let's calm it down. The two captains, Vasco Uva,
have a chat to your boys.
A lawyer by profession, because remember, these are amateurs. Only a couple receive any payment for their game. There's Uvar and Bortolami called as well across to...
Time on.
This is the origin of the little fracas. Pretty tame, but indicative of a simmering undercurrent. Bortolami, then half appeal round the back, offset to Bergamasco. Good drive from the flanker. Mauro Bergamasco. Troncon. Vosawai. Big tackle. And all credit to Portugal again in defence.
Excellent defence. Vosavai is a big man and carrying the ball strongly, but as with any big man, you go low, he's going to fall the same. He fell there, didn't present the ball at all well, coming in on the tackle there. It was the captain Uva who made a very good tackle, as we just see the ball spilling out. Poor ball control upon Vosavai, and well, a golden opportunity yet again. The Italians have coughed up the ball. That's a huge scrum though.
Massive scrum. Absolutely destroying the Portuguese 8. Turnover ball. Troncon goes right to Canale. Canale tries to get round one. Takes 3 men to actually stop him in the end. Troncon knocks on. That's not the first time tonight.
Well, we can see Troncon frustrated with his players there. The presentation of the ball is not good enough. They're just not taking enough care at the breakdown situations here. As we see Canale going in, and really Canale with his pedigree of European rugby, you'd expect him to really take it to these guys tonight. However, sloppy play at the breakdown. The Portuguese again able to put the pressure on the Italians. And this is going to be extremely frustrating for the Italians yet again.
Castro Giovanni, Lo Cicero, knocking around sort of 19-20 stone, and Portugal just don't have that physical presence.
No, certainly they do not. They can't match them physically, and they can't match them technically either. And yeah, that's just the product of working together. The Italians spent a long time together. Now we're having more back chat, more frustration. This is just what the Portuguese have set out to do. You can be sure of that.
You know, Nigel, the thing is that if they start to move into Italian territory and they just keep hold of the ball, they could kick up a fuss amongst the Italian defence and score a try. They just need to get up here, in fact.
I agree, absolutely. That's the problem. They need to get the ball, just hammer it downfield, play the game in Italy's half, but they've just not had the ball to do it with. Maybe now. The pick up by the captain, Vasco Uvar.
Hands off, Rock, leave it blue.
Well, we know all about Latin temperaments, and as with the Pumas and the French, so too the Italians can easily lose their cool, can be quite fragile at times. Febrile, I think, is the French word.
No, they certainly have been. No, they get rattled pretty quickly, the Italians, but against an opposition like the Portuguese, they knew it was coming. They've got to have prepared for this mentally. They know what to expect. It's a case of just holding their composure. And yet, in his 100th game tonight, look to Troncon to be the man really calming the troops.
Great line-out work again, and I think Bortolami, with some justification, felt he was interfered with when he was in the air there, but it's play on. Nice switch pass, and Bortolucci up in the line. Pratichetti down that far touchline, but it's gone forward, I think.
There you go, blue.
Referee waits for any advantage that might accrue. None does.
Well, a well-worked move by the backs there. A couple of passes with the guys just in behind the player coming through on a dummy run. It was well worked, but again, forcing the pass, the last pass, as we see this earlier in the action, Vosavai going in very low there on the tackle. I think that's the captain again. Uva going and making the low tackle. He's got through an enormous amount of work early on in the game, Uva, in the first 30 minutes.
Great test of leadership here, great test of discipline for the Italians as the frustrations mount at 10-0, and I know this is something that Brad Johnston, John Kerwin and Berbizier have had to cope with. It's that temperamental thing about a side which is on top but failing to translate that possession into points. Hurts any side, but somehow the southern European sides seem to be less sanguine about it. Here are Portugal battling away nearly all the time in their own half. Misdirected knock from Gonzalo Uvar. Sets Italy on the attack once more. Massi to Canale.
Advantage from the side, number 5.
In on the side, penalty already blown for, advantage, well, not blown for, it's advantage being played. Still advantage, Vasawai, Bergamasco. You keep thinking there must be a try on here. Look at that pass from Massey. How many yards forward was that? They're lucky because they've got a penalty. Advantage was still on, but what a throwaway pass.
Well, it certainly was. Advantage, free
Number
ball.
5,
Call it, play it as you like, but certainly no one's asking you to throw it forward by 3 metres. Backline very flat outside of him, but there's absolutely no need to throw